This is a short presentation about plagiarism. Citing literature entails opportunities and risk. You have an opportunity to show how much you understand the material. Particularly, your selection and use of sources demonstrates your familiarity with a topic. There are pitfalls though, and over-reliance on direct quotes gives the impression that you did not understand things enough to paraphrase. And when you cite incorrectly and or unreasonably, your ideas appear sloppy and belittled, and you run the risk of plagiarism. Plagiarism is not good. In order to avoid plagiarism, you'll need to give credit to the words and thoughts of others. This means citing correctly for APA and reasonably for logic. Blatant plagiarism occurs when you use someone else's work without credit. This includes copying and pasting portions of someone else's text without a quote and citation. It also happens when you only change even just some of the words, presenting them as your own. Subtle plagiarism has variations. It can happen when you give credit to the source material, but use it incorrectly and or unreasonably. For instance, your citation might have errors, or you try to use the source to show something with problematic logic. It also occurs when you use portions of someone else's writing without credit, or when you let someone else revise and edit your writing to the point where it's not entirely your own. There is also self-plagiarism, which is when you use your own material from one class for another class without permission. Here are examples of plagiarism. First is a direct quotation from a source. Take a moment to pause and read it. And here is a plagiarized use of that material. Notice how it lacks a citation. Even with a citation though, the text is very similar to the original and could benefit from quotation marks around those portions. For subtle plagiarism, observe this common problem. The author cites Creswell, but they are not doing so reasonably or using anything from Creswell in the sentence. Instead, they're presenting their own opinions and thoughts and attaching Creswell to make it seem legitimate. Information from a source and information about what you are doing should be clear and distinct. Lastly, this example also pulls from Hillman et al. Notice how there isn't a citation and the sentence has been selectively written vaguely in a way that lacks context and possibly at the risk of changing the meaning of the original source. In conclusion, make sure you do the work and understand it before you write about it. And what you claim to be your work should only be your work. Quality writing requires correct and reasonable citations. And even though I recommend you get feedback from others, that doesn't mean having others fix things for you. And lastly, try to improve your process of reading, taking notes, creating outlines, and using APA formatted templates. As always, let me know if you have questions about anything.